تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیزرایز.
Guys, I have an absolutely huge module for you guys today. And when I say huge, I don't mean lengthwise, I mean in the quality of the content and the understandings that you are going to get from this. So guys, let's get into it. Momentum is money. Now, I have some pretty bad news for you. It's not going to happen, okay? You're simply not smart enough, hardworking, or disciplined enough. I'm sorry. But I also have some good news. You see, the person you could become in 12 months, well, she has the ability to achieve everything you've ever wished for. Okay? Now remember, I think it was in one of the first two modules I told you, rather than using who you were in the past as a reference point to what you should act like in the present, instead go to the person that you could become. Because as I said, who you are right now and who you were in the past, you're not equipped. You don't have the skills, the discipline, the prowess to achieve what you want to achieve. I'm sorry that I just got to be real with you, but the only good news is that the person you could become, well, that person can do it all. And I know all this too well, because let's compare these two people right here. Here's me on the left, 16 years old, and I had some drug and partying issues. I've grown up very, very quickly in my life and seen a lot of stuff and been through a lot of stuff. So yeah, I had some drug and partying issues, and I was making $500 a month. But whenever I made $500 a month, I spent it all on going out. And I had visions and goals, but I lived in a perpetual cycle of failure. Look, like the person on the left, I was still reading a book a week, even through the drug and partying haze. I was still reading a book a week. I was still trying to figure out some sort of business. Even at 16, making $500 a month, that's still okay money while in school. But how is it that in the space of 18 months, I managed to go from the person on the left to the person on the right? And the person on the right makes $60,000 to $80,000 profit per month. That's profit. I'm highly respected by peers and associates twice my age. I have 7 and 8 figure businesses flying me out to train their team of 20, 30, 40-year-old executives. And now I'm on a mission to reform the education system. What the fuck happened between these two guys? This is 18 months. How is it that the person on the left could have, that transition could have happened in 18 months? How did it happen? Something called momentum, and something that I don't think enough people talk about. Now, I became this person by laying one brick at a time. It's funny, Albert Einstein actually said that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. And a lot of people, it's funny, a lot of business or a lot of business and investment gurus I actually go on to say that he said compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world, which isn't true. He actually just said compounding is, which basically means you lay one brick at a time, or say for example you start off with a little ball of snow and then you roll it down a hill. Soon it's going to become bigger and bigger, right? If you look at an avalanche or something like that, that is momentum, that is compounding, okay? And that, that's the name of the game. That is literally how I went from the person on the left to the person on the right. Now, if you go look at the entrepreneurship niche, this is what the entrepreneurship niche tells us. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Hustle until you no longer have to introduce yourself. Monday I grind. Tuesday I grind. Wednesday, all this very just motivational rah bullshit. And that's great. That's cool to pump you up, but you're never gonna build a real business or really build anything sustainable out of this. Okay? What the entrepreneurship niche tells us to do is, let's just go, let's say the person on the left is Iman 1.0 and the person on the right is Iman 5.0. What the entrepreneurship niche tells us to do is
تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیزرایز.
Is while I'm still Iman 1.0, act like Iman 5.0. Go from having the actions and the discipline and the willpower and the skill set of Iman 1.0, and then magically overnight become this superhuman and become Iman 5.0 and start operating on the same level that Iman 5.0 operates from. It's just not fucking possible, guys. So what you need to understand is that it's simply too much willpower to go from the person you are right now, let's just say version 1, to the person you want to become, version 7, in the space of a day. It's just too much. Okay, so you need to focus instead on becoming version 1.1 today. Guys, think about the iPhone operating software. It's taken years and years to get it to where it's at now. If on the second version of the iPhone, Apple tried to introduce Face ID, it wouldn't work. Okay, it's just too much to handle. So the software needs to go through iteration after iteration after iteration. And for some reason, the entrepreneurship niche tells us, no, fuck that. Go from operating system 1 to operating system 10 and make that happen overnight. And then keep sustaining yourself at operating system 10, and every single day hustle and grind out of that space. It's just not realistic, guys. So guys, these are the key principles I've come to understand in terms of building momentum. Okay? So momentum is everything, and you really need to understand this. Momentum is how you'll become the person you need to be in order to achieve the things that you want. As I said, Einstein once said that compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. What we're doing is we're compounding your results on top of each other to get a result that you never would have been able to comprehend before. Look, on the other side of this, if you're listening to this, you can make 100 million. You can make 1 billion. Fuck, maybe you even might be able to make 10 billion, 100 billion. I have no idea. But what you need to do is you need to get some results. And then you need to compound those on top of each other. Because the person you'll be the person you are at 1 million net worth, that person isn't going to operate at the same level as the person with a $1 billion worth. It's two different spheres, and to go from, as I said, operating, software or version of yourself 1.0 to go to 7.0 in the space of a day, it's just too much. And this is why most people fail. It's because they look at this and they're like, okay, tomorrow I gotta hustle my face off and I gotta absolutely kill it for 16 hours, 12 hours, and then 1 hour or 2 hours they get into it. They are so fucking tired because they're trying to operate as version 7 of themselves when they should be trying to make incremental improvements to version 1.1. So they get tired and then they give up and they quit. And this is most entrepreneurs. They think that, okay, fuck, I need to get to that next level. Like, I need to go to version 7 straight away. And then they go back on Instagram, they read some more of these quotes and some more people shouting at them in a motivational fashion. And then they feel bad about themselves because they think that there's something wrong with the fact that they are not able to operate as version 7 and make that leap, for, that change in the space of 12 or 24 hours. And then they get even more fucking demoralized. So guys, really, as I said, momentum is everything. So in order to get momentum, you need to get some small wins under your belt. So the thing is, people try to move mountains when they first start, not realizing that they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Look, here's what's going to happen. As I said, you are going to tomorrow you're going to try to bust your ass for 8 hours. And then 1 hour into it, you're going to be like, shit, this is impossible. You're going to give up, and then you're going to go eat Domino's or whatever, or you're just going to quit on the day. And you're going to feel bad about yourself because for some reason, because you've been taught this like false thing that like you should be able to go from version, as I said, version 1 to version 7 in the space of a day. When you try to do 100 cold calls.
تهیه و تنظیم در استدیو بیشتری.
Cold calls your first day and fall short. You've done more bad than you have good because now you've demoralized yourself. It's actually worse to aim really high. And by the way, guys, I don't mean this in terms of long-term goals. I mean this in terms of daily actions. So there's a difference between an action and goals. So for example, with your goals should be probably, realistically, what you can do, I think you should probably 3x that. If you're just being realistic. Some people say like 10x your goals and stuff like that. Like maybe, but I just think you should 3x them, because I think if you can have a realistic goal that's still a push and you can 3x that, I mean, that's incredible. So I'm not talking about your goals here. I'm talking about your actions. Your actions need to be small and they have to compound on top of each other. So the issue is when you set your actions too high, or your expectations for your actions too high, and then you fall short. Now that's your past reference point. And once again, now your brain's like, oh, fuck, I failed at this. So as I said, when you try to do 100 cold calls your first day and you fall short, you're just doing more good than you have, bad than you have good. So what you should have done is you should have started with 10 and then progressed up from there. So our brains need a reward when we're trying to build habits. Okay, so your reward is the pride of completing the action, no matter how small it is. So getting the small wins under your belt is initially how you accomplish this. So guys, next time you so for example, with me, like my reward after waking up at 5:30, going to the gym, meditating, is I get to have a coffee. And like, a lot of people have coffee for energy and stuff like that. Like, I just genuinely like the taste of fucking coffee. I got a nice machine, the most expensive Nespresso machine. It just, some people care about different things. Like, coffee is just one of those things. I just really enjoy it. So at the end of all of that, I get a coffee, and that's like my enjoyment. And that is building the neural pathway, because it's going, okay, there's a stimuli, then there's an action, and then the reward. Okay, so for example, with you guys, maybe after you hit your cold call goal of that day, give yourself a reward, like actually give yourself a reward. So as I said, our brains need a reward when we're trying to build habits. The issue is a lot of people, they'll try to like do the action and then not give themselves any reward. So it's like, now your brain's going, okay, I just did 15 cold calls. I'm new to this, so I'm not that great. This is painful. And then now I'm not even going to reward myself. So why the fuck would I do this? Why would I put myself through this pain again tomorrow? So as I said, guys, we need rewards when we're trying to build habits. And if you feel like you're doing too little, good. Like, honestly, good. If you feel like you set too small tasks for the day, that's a good sign you're doing it right. You need small advances. With your goals, you should with your goals, you should shoot way above your expectations. But I think with your actions, your daily actions, you should shoot above what your potential is, because then you're solidifying and you're guaranteeing that this thing is going to snowball and grow and grow and grow, rather than one person who gets all amped up, goes way above their expectations in a day, and then that's it, they can never replicate it again. So I'm sure you guys know the story of the tortoise and the hare, and literally that's a perfect depiction, except in this case the tortoise will soon become a Ferrari. So the thing with the tortoise and a hare is like, okay, the hare, it does a quick sprint at the end and then it chills, and then the tortoise keeps this, this slow pace and eventually wins. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying let these other let these other idiots be the hare and like push and grind on that first week. But the issue is then the hare is going to stop, and we're the tortoise and we're going slowly but surely. But as we're getting quicker, as we're getting past that first, second, third, fourth, fifth week, 2 weeks, our tortoise soon becomes a Ferrari. We don't keep the same pace. We build this momentum and this avalanche. So as I said, I have screwed things up many times by thinking that I should push more because I have gas left in the tank too early on in the process. So there might be a day where I end early and I'm like, shit, I got everything done. I got a good amount of work done today. But I have gas left in the tank. So why don't I just do some more work and I'll feel even better about myself? And then that screws things up, because then it's just like, then I'll work a bit too much. Or now, like, because I've done everything, maybe I'll work, but I won't work smart, So it's like, I'll do half-assed work.
تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیشتری.
Half-assed work. And then that makes me feel even shittier. I'm like, oh, okay, why am I doing half-assed work? So just set your tasks for the day. Make your goals way above your expectations, but your tasks under your expectations, but just do them every day. Okay, so as I said, you should have huge goals, but small bite-sized chunks to get you there. And lastly, be kinder to yourself. I think we feel ashamed these days to be kind to ourselves. We think it's weak for some reason, like especially us entrepreneurs. Like, I think even rap culture is really like, I fucking love rap and hip hop, but I think rap culture is really like, and rap culture and also some like the motivational stuff I see all the time. It's like we almost feel ashamed to just be nice to ourselves and kind to ourselves. Guys, life's gonna fucking punch you in the face. So if there's one person like who's gonna be kind to yourself and needs to be kind to you, it's you, because life's gonna be tough enough on you. You don't need to be that hard on yourself. So I think the people who beat themselves up think it's going to bring in more results, and they always fail. And that's a beginner on the beginner and intermediate side. Like, look, once you get to the advanced high level, you know, if you look at people like Kobe Bryant, they beat themselves up, you know, because they know they have the, you know, their ego can sustain that. You know, it's not like they're going to beat themselves up and they're like, oh, I'm so shit. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to give up. But beginners, they will try to beat themselves up thinking that it's going to bring in more results. But the issue with that is it's like you're going to beat yourself up and then you're genuinely going to get demoralized and you're going to quit. Or you're just going to, it's the process is going to be too painful from there on out. You know, but when Kobe does it, it's fine because he knows, you know, his ego can take that. So our brain responds to reward. So when you beat yourself up consistently, there's an instant link between with working towards your dream and pain. Your brain is literally building a neural pathway between, okay, I work on my dream and my goals and I get pain from it. So you need to have some sort of reward, even if a reward is like, look, when I do this, you know, my 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever it may be. You know, for some of you guys starting, you only need to be doing 1 or 2 hours of like serious focused work. No, you know, if you can, like if you're not doing sales calls or anything like that, phone on airplane mode, no distractions. Put on some binaural beats if you need to. You know, put on some meditation music if you need to. And you should just be doing 1 or 2 hours of work a day when you first start. But remember, by that's day 1. By day 30, that thing, you know, that thing will turn into 7, 8 hours of intense work, or maybe even 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of intense work. You know, just to give you guys a bit of context, I forget where I heard this, but basically, if you can ask someone, or you know, just asking you, would you guys rather that I give you $1 million in cash right now, or I give you 1 penny, and for the rest of the month, I'll double that penny? Well, the crazy thing is, if you actually took the, you know, I'll double the penny option, I think in the last 5 days of the month, you'd be making $1 million a day each. So that goes to show, you know, everyone else, they're trying to focus on getting that $1 million in that first day. Instead, I just want that penny, and I just want to double that penny every single day. And by the end, I'll be laughing at all the other people who tried to just bang their head against the wall, and, you know, just be so hard on themselves, thinking that it's going to push them to these higher levels. It will once you're really advanced. But at a beginner and intermediate level, when you're trying to build that neural pathway, you need to be kinder to yourself. And guys, you should hear what my inner dialogue sounds like. Literally, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired. Okay, Iman, just go turn off the alarm. If you're still tired, go to bed. I think I use this example. Or for example, like, I don't know, even work. You know, if I'm sat down for work and I'm just like, oh, I'm not feeling this. I'm like, okay, dude, just do 15 minutes. If after 15 minutes you want to quit, you can quit. And then at 15 minutes, you know, I'm already into it. So I'm like, okay, just 15 more minutes. And after that, if you want to quit, and you'll even you can even give yourself a coffee after that. And, you know, by minute 30, I'm like, you know what? No, let's keep this going. And then at minute 30, I'm like, okay, Iman, you know what? If you get past this, you're going to have a coffee, and you're also going to, later on in the day, you're also allowed to order some frozen yogurt. You know, some froyo is a lot better than ice cream, but freaking love froyo. So, you know what, Iman, if you get past this, then at the end of this, in 30 minutes, when you finish this work block, you're going to have a coffee and you're allowed to have some froyo. So, you see, now I'm tying some sort of reward to all this pain I'm going through. And once again, the reward doesn't have to be big. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing, maybe, I don't know, maybe some of you guys like playing FIFA or Fortnite or whatever video games people are into these days. I don't really know. You go, okay, dude, look, if I do this for the next 15, or look, you know, say your name's Josh or Chris. Chris, look, dude, if you do this for another 15 minutes, at the end of it, you can have 1 game of Fortnite. And then, you know, 15 minutes later, you tell yourself, look, 30 more minutes, and you can have you can have a game of Fortnite, and later you're allowed to go to your favorite, you're allowed to go watch a movie or whatever it is that you're into. Just give yourself a reward. And guys, seriously, I cannot begin to tell you how important this is. Look, do not try to fill this 18-month gap, or for you guys, it might be a 3-month gap, or for some people, it might be a 5-year gap. Don't try and fucking fill that gap in the space of a day. It's not gonna work, okay? don't fill that gap in the space of a day. So guys, you are one step closer to the Kaizen cure. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this module, and I'll see you in the next one.
تهیه و تنظیم در استودیو بیشتری.